Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Welcome to those of us who are here, those of us who watch us on Torah Anytime and on YouTube. We are learning Maseches Kiddushin Daf and Gimel, the very bottom of the page on Gimel Amud Aleph. And today's topic is going to be again asufi. The first half of the Shiur, Eretz Hashem, we're going to discuss the topic of asufi. Asufi is a foundling. The baby was found in the street. The baby was found in the deserted place. And the concern is that since we don't know the father and the mother is, and the baby was found and seems to be unwanted by his parents, therefore there are some chances that this baby is a mamzer. And although midoraisa mamzer sofik mamzer lekula, that's midoraisa, but Rabbanon were machmir. Rabbanon said, Maila yuchsin. When it comes to yuchsin, to not allow mamzerim to infiltrate Klal Israel, Chazal were more strict over here. So let's see what the issue of mamzer is. In the second part of the shiur, we're going to see very, very interesting issues about the halachic status of a midwife. A midwife has a special halachic status nobody else has. So stay with us for this shiur. Omar Rav bar Rav Huna. Rav bar Rav Huna is now giving us all kinds of guidelines to let us know who's considered to be an asufi, halachically asufi, and maybe a mamzer, and who's not. Let me give an introduction. Generally speaking, why would parents do such a horrible, unthinkable thing of deserting the baby? Well, one reason could be the child is a mamzer. The wife, she's not, I don't know if she's a wife, b'chlal, she's probably, yeah, and she may not be married and she had forbidden relationship. She had forbidden relations, and therefore she wants to get rid of the baby, and she doesn't even necessarily want the baby to live. In other words, he's like a reminder, constant reminder of that sad mistake. He's a mamzer who anyhow is not going to have such amazing life. Mamzerim don't live long. Mamzerim can't get married. So she says, how terrible. I just can't deal with this baby. I wish he died after birth, postpartum. So then, lo aleinu, so she just leaves him to die. Another reason would be that these are really nice people, father and mother, and they really, I mean, really can't support the child financially, mainly financially. Today, they would say emotionally. They say, I wish better people would take care of him. That's the other thing. We wish that nice, kind, saintly people would find that baby of ours because we just can't raise him. We just can't. So in such a case, the baby is not a mamzer. He's born to a family that may be, nice people, but they are just unable to raise him. So these are, generally speaking, the two assumptions we make. We have to know when do we assume what, but these are in general the two assumptions we make when we find a foundling and a sufi in the shuk. Omar Rove bar Rav Huna says Rove bar Rav Huna in light of what we just said. Mitzai mahul. Let's say the person who found him mahul, meaning somebody cared enough to give him bris milah. Then Ein Gimel Amud Beis, that's today's Amud, Ein Boy Mishum Asufi. Yeah, in other words, yeah, that's not an asufi. A mother who cared enough to give bris milah to the child is not going to give bris milah and then leave him to die. They care enough about him to give him the halachic status of a Jew, a bris milah, and they were toreach. It's not a simple thing to bring him oil. So must be they want the baby to live, or at least we can assume that enough, and therefore we assume he's not in a sufi, and therefore the people who found him can treat him as kosher, and he will be able to marry people. Okay, he's not in a sufi, meaning what? He's not a sofik mamzer, and he's a kosher Jew. Meshalte hadme, that's a strange Aramaic. Meshalte hadme en b'mishum sufi. Meshalte hadme means, says Rashi, evolve metukonim, which means the way he looks, his organs, the shape of his body seems to be taken care of. After the birth, they like align the body of the baby. He looks like he's well taken care of mitzad, the physical side. Somebody took care of him and wants him to look good. Probably they want people to take him. And therefore, again, it's not a baby that's like thrown to the garbage and I wish he's dead. No, it's a baby that we want, that the parents want him to live. And therefore, we do not treat him as a sufi, and he's not a sofik mamzer. And the same concept goes again and again and again. Shayef mishcha umolakuchla. Let's say the baby has like baby oil, mishcha. Somebody, smeared oil on him. Malakuchla, you're gonna laugh, but in the past, babies, men, and also babies would have some kind of like an eye, like makeup. Yeah, they would put maybe against Steinhara for beauty. They would, paint the around the eyes. When I was in Jordan, I saw there were men, like very primitive men there. Also, they have like blue under the eyes, and they're otherwise normal men. They're like primitive tribes there. They had this minhag. So I guess in the times of the Gemara, if you want to beautify your baby, you put oil and some kind of blue mascara. I don't know if that's my wife, how these things are called. Yeah. Basically, that shows that the baby is taken care of. And Adrabah, they want him to live, they want him to have a better future, and he's not a Sofik Mamzer. Rami Chumre, another sign, another way to define that. Rami Chumre. Let's say the baby has kshorim, which means they tie all kinds of ties around the baby against Tainhara or for refuah. They believed, yeah, I don't know, these kshorim are, that if you tie certain ties around the baby's clothes, then that shows that it's good for his refuah. This is something that's good for his health. Or tali pitka vitali kmea. Let's say there is a kamea. Pitka and kamea are two different types of kmeas, of amulets. What's pitka? It's a written kamea. They went all the way to the Makubal. They wrote a kamea for the baby. That's not a mamzer that she wants to throw into the garbage. She cares about him. Vitali kamea, what we call kamea, is actually one made out of herbs. There are certain herbs, ikorim, yeah, or roots that are good for the shmira, for the guarding of the baby. Ein ba mishum asufi. Again, we assume that it's not in a sufi. Rashi says, "Kloloi shel dovo kol mokem sheyesh lovin deladas misa shlichosoi v'lo chosa olav yesh ba mishum asufi." Only if you can highly assume that the mother left him in order to die, then we say he's in a sufi. Only then we say it's probably a mum's, and therefore the mum doesn't want to keep him. Tali be dikli. Let's say they found the baby hanging or maybe placed on a tree, on a deck of a palm tree. Yeah, we found, walking down the forest, the grove, and what do you see there in the branches of the tree? A crying baby. That's cool. So then, not so cool actually, I don't know. If the baby is in the forest in a tree within the reach of an animal, there are wild animals there, I don't know, wolves or even big cats, or I don't know, a bear, and the chaya can reach the baby, then yesh b'mishum asufi. The mother left him davka, specifically in a place which is very vulnerable, where animals may eat him, and she says, "Yalla, I don't need this constant reminder for my thing. Let the animals take him." Im lav, if he's higher than that, he's in a higher part of the tree, with out of the reach of animals. Ein b'mishum asufi. That's not a sufi. On the contrary, she placed him in a secure place, hoping that people will pass by and find him and feed him. Now, however, there is one kind of tree. I don't know how the tree is called in English or even in Hebrew. I try to find out. If the tree is called, here it says, tidhar maybe. Okay. Zardeta smicha lemata. There's a type of tree called zardeta. English, I don't know. The zard, again? Sorb, of course, sorb tree. What it? We all know sorb trees. We eat sorb every day, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Now we know what it means. So zardeta, which is really sorb, the sorb tree is smicha lemata, is near the city. Apparently, as zardeta, that kind of mysterious tree, if it's planted close to town, there are 60, no less than 60 demons under such a tree. The tree of the Zirdata, that's how we don't know what it's called, because it's a dangerous tree. So next time you pass under a sorb tree, stay out of the sorb tree. Do me a favor, there are 60 mazikim under that, if it's close to town. But if she left him there, oh, come on. Yesh b'mishum asufi, such bad energy, the baby's going to die in a second. So of course, it's called an asufi, meaning it's probably a mamzer, likely. And she says, Yalla, let him go to all the demons, as they say, the imlav, and b'mishum asufi. But if she left him in a zardeta, not near town, further from town, where dafka, funnily enough, the shadim are not so common, then it's not a sufi. You found a baby in the shul. You think you found lost and found gemaras or pens? You found a baby in the shul. Bear in mind, where were the shuls located in the times of the Gemara? Outside the city. Very good. It's mentioned in Brochus and a few places. Yeah. So basically, you went to shul to mincha, and it's out of town, literally in the forest. Don't look for one here. Yeah, you found you found a baby in the shul. So now it depends what kind of shul. The shuls are always out of the city. The question is how far away from the city. Beiknish just smichta lamata. If it's a shul which is near town, close to town, close to a populated area, the shchichi berabim. There are many people who frequent this place, like ochim, like guests. Yeah, there's constant, like Itzkovich, like Zichron Moshe. A lot of people are there. Ein b'mishum asufi. That's not a sufi. Why? She placed him there, or they placed him there, the parents. So people in the shul, kind, pious people, will find him and take care of him. But v'imlav yesh b'mishum asufi. If Dafka, they left him in a deserted shul, miles away into the forest where you have shachris once a week, these kind of shuls, yeah. That kind of shul is so deserted, mistama, they left in there, lo aleinu, to die. Amar Mema, we're continuing the same concept with more applications. Amar Mema, hi pira, not pera. Hi pira de sufli, which means a pira is like in Hebrew pir of the elevator. Yeah, the big hole. How do you call it? What? Shaft? Okay. The shaft, which really is a pit full of, normally it's used for sufli. Sufli are the stones. It's called in British in British called, right, the stones of the dates, right? What? The pits of the dates. Okay. So basically, the pits of the dates, yeah, are meant to be stored there for animals to eat it. That's a deserted place. Yeah, that's inside the pit. Yesh ba mishum asufi. If a baby was found there, again, he's probably not wanted. He's not going to survive in that deep place. Who's going to find him? The animal. So if somebody found him, let's assume that it's very nice you're taking him to your house and you adopt him. That's a huge mitzvah. But the assumption is he's an asufi because it is not a nice place to be, and she probably wants him to die. Sadly so. Charifta de Nahara. What about if a woman, Miriam Hanevia style, the woman left, lahavdil, the woman left, or the couple, they left the baby near the river. Yeah, by the bank of the river, but depends where in the river. Charifta de Nahara, let's say she placed him in the river. I mean, not floating in the river, but I guess, secured by the side of the river. I'm saying, like Moshe, Charifta is a place that's like the central part of the river where many boats pass by. A lot of boats are passing there in the main part of the river. Ein b'mishum asufi. He's not an asufi. Why? Says Rashi, she went all the way to the, so to speak, center of the river where Dafka, a lot of boats sail over there. She wants people to find him. All the people cruising along. She's calling for attention for somebody to take the baby. So why did she leave him there? Why did they leave him there? They're hungry. They can't support the baby. They hope those fancy people who go on the boat will find him. However, Pashri, yesh bo mishum asufi. If really he was found in the place which is hafshoras shlogim, in the place where the river is not going very strongly, it's not the strong current of the river, but apparently it's the side of the river which is more like the puddle of melted snow. The kids, it's a part of the river which is much less frequented. Yeah, it's like a little puddle by the side of the river. Most people don't go. They're not as much. It's a deserted place. She deserted him there. Probably a mamzer, or at least Suffolk mamzer. We don't know, by the way. We're not. I'm saying, but at least it's a Suffolk. Why would a mother leave her baby like that? There is some probability that he's not kosher. So Suffolk mamzer mitzarabonon lechumra. Now, what about if he found him in the street? Oh, so let's hear a big surprise over here. Side Reshus Harabim. Let's say the baby was found by the sides of Reshus Harabim. Now, the sides of Reshus Harabim is a place where, of course, people do walk there, right? And they're there, they're sitting, they're walking. However, it's not the main part of Reshus Harabim. Imagine yourself a modern day street, like the street we're in right now. So the side of Reshus Harabim is where, let's say, you have benches. Yeah, like in Lachish over here, right? You have benches by the side of the street. In the middle of the street, you have cars driving, honking, 100 kilometers per hour. Before they drive too fast in the street. Yeah. So now, Tzidei Reshus Harabim is not a dangerous place, but it's a place where people can see a baby sitting, lying. Ein b'mishum asufi. He's not called an asufi. Why? Because they probably left him there in order to, these people sitting on the bench or passing by will see the baby and hopefully we'll take them to their house and we'll love that baby. We just can't support him. Zana mamzer. Masha'inken reshus harabim. Oh, the middle of the street. Yesh b'mishum asufi. In the middle of the street. Okay, there were no cars back then, but what were they? Bavakama, animals. It says in Bavakama, accidents used to happen all the time. Not as dangerous, but you have bulls and you have chamoirim and you have animals, camels walking down. There's fire, there's trampling. Yeah, arba ovis nezikim are happening in the middle of the street. She left him in such a dangerous place, basically in the middle of the road. She's waiting for a truck or a car to just take the baby away because she can't stand the trauma and the guilt and the horrible future of the baby. So then it's called an asufi. We assume it's an asufi. Now comes Rav Ad Khan. We got a rather clear picture of who's an asufi, who's not an asufi. Now Rav wants to come and qualify what we said, and I can see that Shlomo wants to say something. So let's find. Now says Rove that Rove is qualifying. Omar Rove says Rove, ubishnei ra'avoin ein boy mishum asufi. Rove is now referring to Reshus Harabim, as we're going to see soon. And Rove says, if the time is time of hunger, time of famine, yeah, meaning when there's time of famine, a lot of people are hungry, but not all of them. There are still rich people, but a lot of people, unfortunately, are hungry. Yeah, they're financially just not managing. Then ein bo mishum asufi. Then when you find a asufi, we're going to see soon where, then it's a stronger assumption that the baby was deserted by hungry parents who loved the baby and would have loved him to have a kind soul to find him, and they can't support him because Pashat, it's quite rampant in those times. But the Gemara asks the question, wait a second, what is Rav exactly talking about? Which part of the Gemara before should we connect Rav's words to? The Rave, that statement of Rave, ahaya. On which statement does Rava talk about? What does it relate to? If you want to tell me, we're talking about a baby that was found in Reshus Harabim, when the trucks and the motorbike and the vans can actually run him over. I did the Shnei Rav on Katlale. Doesn't make sense. Because we're talking about years of hunger, the parents want to kill him. The whole idea of hunger years, famine years is the other way around. They have mercy. So I wouldn't leave him in the middle of the street for all the trucks to run him over. The Ela must be what? Atid Reshus Harabim. So Rav is talking about a baby that was found in a public yet secure place. Then what? Then who cares if it's the years of hunger? I feel below Shnei Ravon either. We said that if it's left in a place where it's visible for everyone but secure, you don't have to come to Shnei Ravon. Anyway, it's considered to be a non-asufi because the parents took care to put him in a safe place. So what's Rava talking about? Either Rava is wrong or Rava is redundant. Khalila. Ela, therefore, let's explain now the big Kiddush. Now comes the real big hit, and I saw today in Shulchan Aruch. Ki itmar de Rava, aha. The Omar of the Omar Rabbi Abba. What Rava said relates to a statement by Rav Yehuda Omar Rabbi Abba. Omar Rabbi Yehuda Bar Zavdi Omar Rav. Yeah, what's a statement? Kozman shebashuk avi ve'ima enom monim olav. Nesaf min hashuk enim monim olav. Let me translate and explain. What happens if the drama continues? Yeah. What happens if there's a foundling found in the street, and all of a sudden, Miriam style, somebody emerges from a corner over there and it says, it's our baby. We don't erase him, but it's our baby, and they're kosher people. We know that these people are not mamzerim. We know them. So can the parents actually say, he's our baby, and kosherize him, or maybe they're not believed? I'm repeating again. Kozman shebashuk ovivim and emonim olav. As long as it's in the market, meaning was not yet collected, wasn't taken, then the parents are still reliable, neman halachically, to say, that's our baby. And if we know now he's kosher and they're kosher, then regardless of what, of wherever you found him, maybe even a horrible situation, they're believed that we are the parents. Yeah, here we are. Nesaf minashuk enemonim olav. Once Mr. and Mrs. Tzaddikim, pious, saintly Jews, started taking him, took the baby to their house, and then they get a knock on the door and say, we are the parents, thank you so much for taking him, then they are not, I'm going to explain everything later. And they're not believed anymore. Once he was taken by others, then Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous cannot say this is our baby and we're believed. Why not? My time, wow, what's the difference? Here comes the Lom de Shepsak. Ho'il v'yotza olav shem asufi. Very good. Which means, as we all know, halacha is all about chazakas and definitions. And therefore, when the baby is in the market, he's not yet called asufi. What does asufi mean? Asufi, by the way, it's again wrong translation. Foundling means it was found. Asufi means le'esof. What's le'esof? Ah, to collect. Asufi really means a collected baby. That's really what it means in English. I don't know. Yeah, collecting, not a foundling. Yeah, a baby that was collected is called a sufi. Once it's called a sufi, collected by other people, now halacha says, aha, now he's not muhzak as a question anymore. He's muhzak as an asufi. He's muhzak as an asufi, and a sufi has a stempel of boom, stofik mamzer. Once it was ne'esaf, he's called an asufi. The chazaka within a second changed from a regular baby into an asufi. Once he's an asufi, that's it. He's labeled as a maybe mamzer, which with the rabbanon is a mamzer. The parents came, I don't know, 5 minutes later after Mr. and Mrs. Tzadikim collected him to the house. Oh, cuddly baby, cutie, and they took him to his house. And then there's a knock on the door 5 minutes later and said, "It's our baby." We're not claiming him back, but it's our baby, and we are kosher. You should know this kosher. They're not believed anymore. Why? It's called an asufi. Once he's muhzak, he got the stempel, the definition of a sufi. That's halachic lamdas. That's it. Too late. 1 second. The shekel, while he's in the street, is not yet an asufi. Let me give an example. That happens, unfortunately, many, many times. It just came to my mano. It's so poshut. How many times do we find babies in shul screaming, and I'm going crazy from that? Where's the father? He's in the other side of the corner, in the corner of the shul, shakling shmonesra. You don't call that a sufi. It's meaning it's a baby who's alone for a few minutes. What happens? A baby outside the shop in the middle of the street, very unsafe. This also happens. Where's the mother? Inside, 2 shops away, buying jewelry, and she just left in there a little bit. Yeah, it's not called a sufi. It's a baby who's not attended, for those few minutes, which is very bad, but it's not a sufi. Once he's collected, then Allah defines him in a sufi, and then we say, once he's in a sufi, then they cannot undo the halachic chazaka. Thank you for your patience. Now, what does that have to do with Rava? Oh, and that says Rava. Rava, here comes Rava with a big punch. Ubishne Ravoin, afalti shenesaf minashuk, ovivim enimonim olov. Oh, if this entire story happened in years of famine, then although he was collected from the market by Mr. and Mrs. Tzadikim, the father and the mother can still knock on his door, even days later, even months later, and say, we are the parents, and they are believed. Why? Machlokes Rashi and other Rishonim. Rashi says, Pashut, in times of Ravoin, asufim are unfortunately quite common, and we don't want to pass so many people from Klal Yisrael. Yeah, that Rashi says, how ben ishlochin lo rotzu chachomim lo fois lo machmas etzias kol. Yeah, just because of the assumption of kol, we don't want so many babies to be possible. The Shulchan Aruch is following other Rishonim, I haven't seen who. He says something else brilliant. What's the whole word of Shnei Ravoin? Why do people leave the baby in times of hunger? Because they want wealthier, more established people to find him. Now the parents can say, listen, that was our trick. We're trying to help our baby. You know why up until now we didn't come? When the baby was in the street for a whole day, I don't know, we didn't come. And now we do come? Obviously, that was our whole patent. That was a whole trick. We wanted people to find him. Yeah. So we left him deserted and therefore evoke mercy, emotional blackmail. So everyone should have mercy on him. And a wealthy, nice family would find him. Great. Once the wealthy family found him, once the tzaddikim found him, very good. Now we can go out of our hiding place and say, thank you very much for taking care of our baby. That's all idea. That's all plan. It makes sense. And we don't say that the change in chazaka, because the chatchila, that was part of the whole plan. To dafka leave him, dafka the people will take him, and then we'll reveal who we are. We want the baby to be kosher, not called a mamzer. Therefore, what Rabbi says makes sense. I see there were a few questions. No? Good? Yes? Shlomo? Happy? Or continue? Again, I'm listening. No. Thank you for the question. No. Only a baby that was collected and was not gemaled, had no bris milah, and doesn't have nice fancy makeup, it doesn't look good, it's not dressed nicely, the baby looks like it was thrown in the garbage, and was collected, then he has a halacha b'sufi. Obviously, you need both. You need to tick both boxes. Yeah, of course. Good? Weiter. 1 second. Bruche. Omar Rav Chizda. Okay, we're almost out of asufi material. Now we're going to talk about very interesting things to do with ne'emonus. Yeah, about a person who's reliable, who's ne'eman, who's believed, who's credible to paskin about a baby or about other things. Amar Rav Chizda, says Rav Chizda. Shloisha ne'emonim la'ata. There are three types of people who have special ne'emonus, who are believed to say something, who are halachically believed to say, to define, to say something about something, who see soon, le'alta, meaning their ne'emonus is limited. Ne'emonus is limited to what? Only le'alta, only for a limited period of time. Soon, meaning most people are ne'eman, they're ne'eman forever. Let's say if I made kosher food, you believe me? I'm a religious guy, you know. I keep kosher, really. I promise. If I make some food for you, you should believe me. I've no negias. I'm not taking money, right? And I'm a nice, firm guy. I think I'm nice. And what? And then I make you food. I believe to say that the food is kosher. Let's say I made you the food a week ago. It's in the freezer, and I'm giving it to you. I'm still believed to say it's kosher forever, right? The nemanus doesn't expire. However, there are three people who have very specific ne'emanus on certain things, and those three people have something in common, and that is that their ne'emanus is limited, is time sensitive and time limited. Who are they? Eluhen, these are the three. Asufi, chaya. Chaya means a midwife. Upoteres chavoseha, and a woman who exempts her friends from tumas nida. Everything will be explained. This is not Chinese. Asufi Odamon. Asufi we just said, meaning Asufi is not Neman, but the parents are only believed to say, hey, we are the parents. Maybe not, maybe left the baby. You see a baby looks like, excuse me, from the garbage can, and then the mother comes and says, and the father says, he's our baby. No, maybe it's not your baby. Maybe it's an Asufi. We say no. We say as long as he was not taken anywhere, they're believed. Once he was already collected, they're not believed. Okay, it's limited. Chaya, Chaya is a Yoledis. Oh, this is big stuff. Again, before we continue to Chaya the midwife, yeah, you tell me what happens if there is a question in the family. There are two sons in the family. I'm just giving you the introduction, and I'm sure you're going to know what we're talking about. There are two sons in one family, only two children, one older than the other, but not much older. Yeah, maybe there are twins, even. Maybe they're only a year apart. And the Yerusha, now the father's about to bequeath them $9 million. Yeah. So we want to know who's the Bchor. Well, who cares who's the Bchor? Well, what's the difference? I said 9 million because I don't want to go into difficult numbers. It's a $3 million question. The Bchor will get 6 million, the other three, and the question who's the Bchor? Who's going to rake in 6 million? Who only 3 million? So now you want to know who's the Bchor. Okay, very nice. Who's believed in general? Let's see if you remember Baba Basra. Who's believed to say he's a Bchor and he's not the Bchor throughout their lives? The Tate. Tatele. The father is believed. Why? Because it says Yakir. The Torah says there are Parshas Kiseitze. The Torah says, again, Kisabcho ben Hasno Yakir, recognize. The Torah gave special admonitions on the father to recognize, meaning to tell us he's the Bchor and he's not the Bchor, right? And that's a special loch in the Torah. Mon of Tzvi Shlevsky, father of the baby, he told us because the father is in charge of his family halachically. Making it superficial, but the idea was the father made, he's Kilo the Dayan, he's the one deciding about the form and shape of his family. However, there are two other people at some stage in the baby's life who are believed to say that this is a Bchor. Chaya, let's go now and go into the delivery room. The Tanya, it says in the Brisa, Chaya ne'emenes loima, a Chaya, a midwife, is believed to say, Zeyot Sarishan v'Zeyot Sheni. Twins, baby twins are born, two boys are born, and we don't know who came out first, who came out second. Who's believed to say who came out first, who second? Who's the only person there? The father's not supposed to be there halachically. It's not sanua because the wife is exposed and she's nida, right? She's yoledis. And normally, even today, there aren't other people there. In Israel, there's no doctors there. Oh, just a midwife. Yeah, in the olden days, only midwife was there. The wife herself is a half dead. Yeah. So the only person around, but what I'm saying is the Ran. I'm not telling you stories. The Ran explained it that way. The only person who's believed is who? The Yoledis. The Meyaledis, the Chaya. Says the Ran, I'm going to quote the Ran. The Ran says, you know why? Why is one regular woman? She's one woman. Why is she believed in such a crucial $3 million question? You know why she's believed? The one who's the deliverer, because she's the only one around. She's the only game in town, and therefore Chachamim gave her the ne'emanus. That's what the Ran says. However, is she ne'eman forever? No, and ne'emanus is extremely time limited. B'medvo memurim, until when is she believed? Shelo yotzta v'chozro. As long as she did not leave the house, it says, the hospital room completely, the chozro. As long as she's in the room, she's believed. Aval yotzto v'chozro ein menes. Once she's out of the room, and beforehand she didn't say anything. She didn't say anything about the babies. She didn't tell the mother who's older and who's younger, right? And then she went out to take papers, to talk to the office, to the head nurse, to call the doctor, to have a cup of coffee, and then she came back too late, as we say in Hebrew. Why, says the Ritva? She lost her thread of thought. Yeah, she lost count. Yeah, we're all believed to know what we did 1 minute ago, what we did 10 minutes ago. We may forget. In other words, she may have not what she's thinking she saw before is not what she's saying now, and therefore her ne'emanus is on the spot as long as she didn't leave the room. Now listen to this. Abelezer is even stricter. Abelezer says even more limited. As long as she's standing where she's standing, as long as she stays in her original place where she's standing, only then she's ne'emenes. Once she is not standing there, she's not ne'emenes. My benayu. What's the difference between Tanakama, who said once she left the room, and Abelezer, who says once she's still oimedes? What does it mean? Ikebenayu de ahadar apa. Wow, which means, let's say that lady, the midwife, she turned her face away. She was looking at the babies, right? He's born. She didn't say anything yet. She did not make her declaration, which is halachic, about who's first or second. Yeah, the blonde one or the gingy one. She didn't say who's first or second. She turned her face to take something, a diaper, to the computer nowadays, to put in the data, and then she turned back her face and she said to the mother, yeah, the blonde one is the first one and the ginger one is the second one. Too late. In other words, we only believe her once she's on the spot, only then she remembers what she's seeing right now. Once she turned her face and she works out of memory, even very short-term memory, she's relying on her own memory, not her own current vision, then she's already not believed. Unbelievable. That's Abelezer. 1 second, I saw you. But Sheikh, according to Rabbanan, no. According to Rabbanan, as long as she's in the room, the living room, they do many things. She weighs them, she with the computer, she talks to the father, mazel tov, As long as she's in the room, she's still believed, according to Tanakama. According to Abelezer, once she turned her face, she lost her ne'emanus. By the way, thank you for the patience. Who's the next person ne'eman? Is the mother. From that few minutes or second or hour, depends who you ask, of the birth, of after the birth, the meyaledis is believed. She tells the mother the information, right? Then the mother is believed up until the bris. That's what the Gemara says in another place, in Shulchan Aruch again, because the mother is in charge of the baby. The baby is not connected halachically to the father so much until the bris. Once the bris comes, then the mother kilu hands the baby to the father, because the bris is the first mitzvah that the father does to his son. Bris, and then there's Pidyon Ben sometimes, Torah. Once the baby is, under the auspices of the father, that's bris milah, then the father begins his ne'emanus until 120. Okay, questions? Yes, I'm listening. Right there. Joking. Pateres chavroseh mahi. The third limited ne'emanus is pateres chavroseh. We're going now a little bit to the halachas of nida. So what is this? Mahi, the one who exempts her friend. Who's exempting from what? Detnan. It's a Mishnah in Nida. Shalosh noshim shoyoshenes b'mita achas. There are 3 women sleeping in one bed, and they are very close to each other. They're like hugging each other. They're all together in one bed, the 3 women. V'nimtza dam tachas achas mehen. Under there's Rochel, Leah, and Prince Abela. Rachel, Prince Abela, they all sleep together in the same bed, and there's blood under Rachel. Yeah? So, dam nida, nobody killed anybody here. There's dam nida, kulant meas, they're all torment. Why? It's under Rachel, because they were sleeping. They're not lying down, watching the computer. What were they doing? They were lying down sleeping, yeah? And when you sleep, as you know, naturally a person, that's what it's supposed to be, is rolling over, right? Unless the person is unwell, naturally a person moves a lot. Oh, so just because in the morning we found it under Rachel doesn't mean anything. Could be it was Leah, could be it was Prinza. Therefore, misafek, all three, we don't know who started where, who ended up where. Therefore, they're all tome. Okay, misafek, they're all treated as nida, with all the ramifications, they're all tome. However, bodko achas mehen, benimtzes tmea. Let's say Rachel checked, or any of the others, by the way. Rachel checked. She did a bdika. You know how a woman does a bdika. She takes the aid, yeah, the cloth, the white one, she puts wherever she has to put, and she did the bdika, and she's found out to be tmea. Okay, then she's the culpable. we found the guilty, the culprit. He tmea, the kulan toiros. So now whoever checked, whatever Rachel, let's say, is tome, and by default, now we found the guilty. The other ones are Tahiras, all very good. However, here comes the limitation. Omar of Chizda, that is only true, says of Chizda, Shabodko atzve kishiur veses, which means, when do we say that if Rachel checked herself, we say, now we know that the Nida is Rachel, the other ones are Tahor. That is only true if the Bdika was done very, very quickly, right upon waking up. She woke up, saw the blood, and Shiur veses is very quick. She took the 8 bdika was right near her bed, and she checked herself, and she found that she's tome. Then we allege the tumor of the night to her. But if it's a little bit later, then we don't. Why? Obviously, it makes a lot of sense. Because let's say I'm being very generous now. Let's even 5 minutes past. I think it's even less. I'm saying on purpose a big shiur. Let's say 5 minutes after waking up, Rachel makes a bdika, and she says, "Oh, I'm tome." So what? Too late, because maybe you became tuma now, 5 minutes after you woke up. It doesn't reflect on the time when you were sleeping, right? We're trying to figure out, who became tuma at night. So if you do it the second when you wake up, we say, I'm tuma now. The second I wake up, I'm very probably the same one that was tuma in the middle of the night. But if some time passed in between, then no. Maybe the tumor was from Shrin Tzabela tonight, and you are tuma now, and you both tuma. Back to square one, all three are tuma. Tonu Rabbanon. Now back to the midwife. Tonu Rabbanon, there's another very important area in halacha that the midwife is believed. Beforehand we said what? B'cho, right? She's believed to say there are twins born. She's believed to say that this one is a b'chor, the other one is not. Tonu Rabbanon, here comes another what? Another ne'emanus of the midwife. And this story actually is very likely to happen in modern day hospitals, right? Let's say back then, the Mialedis would come to a woman's house. The Chaya, the midwife, would come to each and every woman's house. Rashi says, let's say there are 4 women giving birth in one house, which today is extremely, that's usually what happens. They all gave birth in Aratzofim, in Shari Tzedek, in wherever, John Hopkins, I don't know, So now, there are 4 women who gave birth, and their halachic status is very different. One is a Kohen, one is the wife of a Levi, one is the wife of a Mamzer, and the wife of a Nosin. And all had babies more or less the same time. More or less the same time, and she's running around between the rooms, understaffed hospital. Understaffed hospital. One Mialedis is running around to, deliver 4 male babies who belong to 4 different, families of different halachic status. Who's going to know which baby belongs to which mother? Tonu Rabbanon, ne'emenes chaya loimar. A chaya, a midwife, is believed to say, ze kohen, ze Levi, ze nosin, ze mamzer. The chaya, that midwife, is believed to say, this is the Mrs. Cohen's son, this is Levi's son, that one is the Nosin's son, this is Mamzer's son. Okay? Now, the Ritva says, I saw the Ritva now, he said, that Ne'emanus actually is not time limited. To say about twins, which are usually quite alike, and to say who was born first or second, that you only Ne'eman time limited. But to remember which baby belongs to which mother, it's completely different rooms, different stories, then she is believed even later. She's believed even later because it's more of a significant thing, you remember it better. But when is that true? When is it true that she is believed? Or up until what point is she believed? As long as nobody else was me'arer. questioned what she says. Aval kora le'arar en ne'emenes, which means, let's say she says, by the Rambam says it works both ways, which means, let's say, oh, that little dark one with the dimple over here is Cohen, and that blonde one with the tall one is a mamzer, and comes somebody me'arer, somebody, soon going to see what's a somebody, comes, let's say, a man and says, no, you're lying. You have an interest here, they pay you money. No. And I'm telling you, either or. He either kosherizes what she claims is a mamzer, or he disqualifies the one she says is a Kohen, says is a mamzer. Then she lost her credibility. As long as somebody else questioned what she said. Now asks the Gemara, wait a second. What kind of iru, who is that, and how many people can be me'arer and question her statement? If you want to tell me it's iru, it's the somebody, one person is contradicting her chad. No, an iru, when a person has a certain chazaka, and all of a sudden people say you're mamzer, only two people have to come and testify. Like shnei edim, you're calling it a different word. Arar, only two edim work, yeah, are functioning. Ela arar trei must be enachnami here too. But the mialedes, but that midwife, her ne'emanus is nice and amazing, as long as you don't have two people who claim otherwise. If there are two people who come and say, no, we know that this is not the mamzer, this is a coin, vice versa, she lost her credibility. Here comes the Chiddush, and that's halacha. Comes the second statement. Wow. Ooh. Really, even one person can question and deny the statement of that woman. And by the way, the status of the baby will be questionable. That's another shayla. But conceptually, her unbreakable ne'emanus, that's a kohen, that's a levi, that's a mamzer, is only true unless one person came and contradicted her. We thought you need two people for iru. No. You know, when Rabbi Yochanan said that iru is only two people, oh, let's say a person is muchzak bekashras, a person already known by people. He's an adult or child walking down the street. His muchzak is kosher. He's a kosher Jew. And all of a sudden, one person comes and says, you're mamzer, you're nosin, you're I don't know what you are, Evan. He's not believed. Only if two people are saying. Two people are saying it, and two people, obviously in Beis Din, you find out, and the error can take place if it's two people who say that he's a mamzer against the chazaka. To take out of an existing chazaka, you need two people, two edim. I'm not sure the mamish like edim, that's another shaila, but you need the power equivalent to two edim to get out of chazaka. Oh, when there's no chazaka of kashrus, meaning there is no chazaka of the kashrus, there's no chazaka. These babies, right? They're not already walking down the street known by the people as kosher kids or kohen kids. We only rely on her words. Chazaka wasn't yet created, therefore chad is also believed. One person can also question her because her ne'emanus, yeah, it's just her ne'emanus. Against her ne'emanus, one person is ne'eman. Frek the Ran. The Ran is asking a question, and this takes us back to what we said before. The Ran asks the following question, and he's asking why. Why are you telling me that this woman, her ne'emanus, is not believed, right? Why do you say her ne'emanus is, you don't believe her? Yeah. So, because the Ran says, whenever an Eid Echad is ne'eman, he's as good as two Eidim. If halacha gave ne'emanus to a person, his ne'emanus is as good as two. So it's two against two. Why are you telling me the other two are stronger than two? Either she's believed or she's not. Who cares about chazaka? If she's ne'eman, she's wearing the crown of two Eidim, of two men. Answers the Ran what I told you before. Really, her ne'emanus is not real ne'emanus. It's ne'emanus by default because just nobody else there. Because nobody else is there, we go for her ne'emanus. But her ne'emanus is limited as long as other people don't claim that they know otherwise. Let's say people do know. I don't know how. They say that they know. Two people. Her ne'emanus was weak to begin with. It was a ne'emanus of out of necessity because nobody else would be in that room, just her. I'll give you another example. I'm not sure it's the same halacha. This time I'm telling you something interesting. One of the Choshev HaKohanim, somebody the style of a Shiur or somebody like that, or maybe even before, maybe from a Sedeshin, One of the Rishonim Achronim, one of the Chuvas, I'm sorry, I don't remember who, he says that women are believed, mamish, like Eidim, I think even stronger than Emanus, in issues that happened in Ezras Noshim. Let's say there's I saw the Chuva inside actually, I don't remember who says it again. Let's say there are women who fight over chazaka of the chairs. You think it only happens by men? It happens by women. Yeah, a woman comes and she says, I'm a member of the community and I'm muchzak, I always sat here. And Prince Abela says, no, I was sitting here first. I'm sitting here, I'm the one in the fight. So then you can have two Eidos, you can have women Eidim, women witnesses to say, we know that the first one was Rochel Bela and not Prince Abela. Why? Because men, unlike what we do right now, men are not supposed to go to Ezras Noshim at all. It's not the men's zone, it's a women's zone, and therefore their name, and I know we're breaking that rule right now because we're sitting in Ezras Noshim, but yeah, the classical Ezras Noshim where only women go, men are never there. And therefore the only game in town are the women and their Neman. I think here it's even weaker. It's one woman, and why Habshes Nemanus on such a big thing? Says on because he efshar bin yanacher. There's no other option. But if there are two men who come and deny her clearly, and we listen to what they say and their source, they're believed to break her nemanus because her nemanus was limited to begin with. Weiter. So halacha style women's live, yeah. Neman bal mekach. Here comes another halacha. Very this Gemara has many perushim, many ways to explain it. There are many questions. We'll just start it now, and Be'ezus Hashem continue tomorrow. Basically, up until now, we saw three cases in which the nemanus is time limited. Tell me what they are. Mamzer, as long as a mamz, we don't know is a mamzer, first of all, is an asufi. Okay. So he's an asufi, as long as he's in the street, although it looks like a rag doll, he's in the street asufi style, and the parents come and say, we are the parents and we are kosher, and then they disappear. Then what? If we know that they're kosher and they swear the parents, they're believed because he's not yet defined halachically as an asufi. Maybe he's a baby who the mother right now is not tending to him. And once he was taken, yes, somebody took action and took him to his house, right? He's defined as an asufi. He's treated as a collected baby, and therefore now they can't change the chazaka of a sufi, sufik mamzer, and kosherize him. Too late. Second, we had the chaya, the midwife, is only neman to say he is the first or second baby. Who's a b'chor? Is not a b'chor, as long as it's right after the delivery, either as long as she doesn't turn her head or as long as she doesn't leave the room. And what else? The woman with the nida, the woman can do bdika to find out which lady was the Toma one right first thing in the morning, not later. Now we're going to discuss other ne'emanus, which are also ne'emanus of one person, right? One person has the ne'emanus as if it was two edim or the like, but these ne'emanus are even after, are not time limited. The ne'emanus we're going to see now, this is a seifa of the same brisa, are ne'emanus which are not time limited. We're going to read the Gemara now and explain it according to Rashi. And all we'll do today is only pose some of the questions, hard questions we have about this Gemara. So let's see. Ne'eman Baal Mekach Loima. Baal Mekach is a person who is selling or he sold something to someone. Yeah? Where's Tzvi with the motorcycle? Somebody wants to sell this motorcycle, and the motorcycle owner says, Let's say two people fight. Each one says, I bought the motorcycle. And the other one says, no, I bought the motorcycle. The Baal Mekach, the motorcycle owner, can say, I am Neman, I am believed to say, yeah, right, all kinds of solutions. So inside, there is a certain time, under certain conditions, the owner of the acquired goods, he can say, I sold him and I not sell the other. When is that true? As long as mitchoy beyodoi, right? As long as the motorcycle is in his domain. As long as the motorcycle is his, right? Not his. It was sold by someone. He's holding it. It's in his possession. It's in his house. No. He's the owner. He is the owner. So how come one person bought it? They bought it, they did Kinyan Mashicha, but they left it by him. There was a Kinyan done, right? There was a Kinyan done, but the motorcycle is still in his house. That's not difficult. They did Agba, Mashicha, Masira, whatever they bought, and then it was left in his house for technical reasons. It's still Mikcha B'Yodoi. As long as the Mikcha B'Yodoi is believed. Aval en Mikcha B'Yodoi einu ne'eman. Once the Mekach left his hand, and the Mekach, you know where the Mekach is now? Once the motorcycle is not in his house, and where is it? In the street. You know who's holding it? Two of them. They fight over the motorcycle. You know, the police is coming soon. Then he's not believed anymore. So I want you to see Rashi. It's already difficult to understand here a few things. Let's see Rashi. Look at the second to last Rashi. The Rami alei lemeidak shelo lachzor lo mizeh ulachzir lo domov. In other words, first of all, he has to be meidak. We're going to say now that both people gave him the money. As we're going, let's actually continue the Gemara. No, I regret. We'll only understand the Rashi if we'll continue the Gemara first. Yeah? Frag the Gemara, and then we'll go back to Rashi. Frag the Gemara, what's the big question here? Simple question, simple solution. Why can't you find out who did he get the money from? And that clearly, right, is only what? Is only something he's going to remember. He's going to remember if Reuven gave him the money or Shimon. He's saying metaltil and not nikne bekesef. So what? What? Okay. Depends. Kind of.
Could have just said just now. Or never said.
I hear you. Okay. I hear. Okay. I hear you. Kind of. Okay. I hear. I hear. So here the Gemara is asking, why are you relying on what? On his ne'emanus, meaning nobody knows. Nobody knows b'chlal who's the balabais, who's the buyer, and we rely on him because he knows who bought and who didn't buy. And what, as long as the mekach is in his hands, as we'll see later by Rashi, he's still in charge. He's in charge. He has to know. I have to give him the motorcycle. Him I don't have to give. So I remember who's the real purchaser. Back the Gemara. Why do you have to b'chlal come into that even? Lamaisa, just look who's nechzizuzi. Look who gave you the money, and therefore clearly, yeah, he'll remember. And by the way, that he'll remember even after the motorcycle left his hands, right? That's a stronger question. What are we saying? Once the motorcycle is in the street and they're fighting, fist fighting over it, then he's not believed anymore. Why not? He's clearly going to remember, and therefore believed who gave him the money. And says the Gemara, lo tzricha, the nokat mitavayu. He took money from both. Now he's not a dishonest guy. The Omar, he's claiming, chad midatoi, v'chad bal kochi. I accepted the money from one guy, I accepted willingly. The other one threw the money at me, trying to force me to sell the motorcycle. So now, I have two bags of money here, looking the same, both in a green envelope with blue polka dots. Yeah, and I don't remember. I don't remember. Yeah, and we don't know as the onlookers. We don't know who gave him the money, the koyach, by force, and who gave him the money willingly. So once it's out of his hands, you can't rely on remembering who gave the money, because unless the money was given, we don't remember who gave him by force, who gave him by, goodwill, by his volition. So the Maisa, again, let's go back to the beginning. What did we say? As long as he's in charge, as long as the person is there knowing that he has to deal with the motorcycle business, yeah, I have to give it to him, not give it to him, he's believed. Once it left his hands, shalom alay nafshi, none of my business, right? That's it, okay? Before my questions, I'll start with my question. My question is, if he has money that he received from both, one of them, he has to do what? He has to give back the money. So
he gave it good.
Not just that, but the Baal Bais, I think, still has the responsibility of returning the money to the unwanted buyer. So I wonder, he doesn't remember, but just like he has ne'emanus, as long as he has to know who to give the motorcycle to, because of that he's believed as long as the item is in his hands. So why don't you say the same thing as long as the money is in his hands? As long as both batches of money are in his hands, both wads of cash, why isn't he believed? It's still on his cup. It's still Rami Alei, because he has to know who to give back the money to. What? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So look at Rashi. By the way, this Gemara has a few explanations in the Rishonim. There are many different explanations here. We're now following Rashi. Says Rashi, in the previous page, yeah, in An Gimel Amud Beis. The Rami Alei Lemedak, it's Rami Alei means it's his responsibility, it's his headache, so to speak. Shelo lachzo lo mizeh, not to return, meaning not to revoke the deal of this one. Lachzir lodomov, v'hitanamekach lemi shelo nimkar loi. Yeah, in other words, he has to remember who to give the what's his name, the mekach to, and who to give the money to. Now listen to this. The kamle b'mishapora. Hilkach medakdoik. What's kamle b'mishapora? Kamle b'mishapora means that he's not allowed to give back the money and regret the deal from somebody who gave him money, right? Although there was no kinyan, because if he got the money from someone without even striking a deal, remember what we say? There's mishapora. What's mishapora? Mishapora means if you received money from someone from a taltalin, it's not yet a kinyan. However, if you regret the deal after receiving money because there was no mashicha, no agba, so there was no kinyan, and therefore you can say, there was no kinyan, I can regret. Yes, you can regret, but the person can force you to go to Beis Din, and Beis Din will bestow a beautiful curse upon the person, saying, because you are not honest, you took money and you're not following through the deal, therefore you'll be punished just like Dor Mabel Dor Palogo. So he has to know now who to give the motorcycle to and who he has to give the money to. We'll explain all that tomorrow more. Yeah, tomorrow at the beginning of Shiur, all that will be repeated. Once the motorcycle is out of his hand, goodbye. Then it's not my worry anymore, and finished. And again, my question is, why is it out of his worry? He still has to worry. He has 2 batches of money in his hands. No, he has to know who to give back the money to. It's Beis Din, not him. All of a sudden, why? But what don't we say that naturally it's within his memory, within his achrayus? I hear. So all that has to be continued. Tomorrow we'll restart again, Bezos Hashem, from the Mekach business, because it was forced, but he still has to give back the money, even if it was forced. Okay, interesting. Maybe I'm missing something here, I'm sure. We're going to see more Rishonim, Bezos Hashem, tomorrow. It's just open-ended question. Thank you very much. Atzlocha uvrocha. Thank you to everybody on YouTube, on Torah Anytime, such a halachic site. Atzlocha uvrocha l'chol hamishtatfim. All of Klal Yisrael will have Yeshua very soon. Thank you.